Why is margin of error important in research? Have you ever wondered how researchers determine the accuracy of their findings? One key concept that plays a significant role in this process is the margin of error. Understanding this term is essential when interpreting demographic statistics, especially in the context of the United States. The margin of error quantifies the uncertainty that comes from sampling. When researchers gather data from a sample rather than the entire population, there is always a chance that the results may not perfectly reflect the true values. This is where the margin of error comes into play. It tells us how much the survey results might differ from the actual values in the population. For example, if a survey finds that 40% of adults in the United States support a particular policy, and the margin of error is plus or minus 3 percentage points, the actual support could range from 37% to 43%. This range is critical for making informed decisions, whether for policymakers or businesses. Several factors influence the margin of error. First, sample size matters. Larger samples tend to reduce the margin of error because they better representing the population. In contrast, smaller samples lead to larger margins of error, resulting in less precise estimates. Next, population variability plays a role. If the characteristics of the population vary widely, the margin of error increases. This is because it becomes more challenging to estimate the true value accurately. Another factor is the confidence level, which is often set at 95%. This means there is a 95% chance that the true population value lies within the margin of error. Higher confidence levels typically requiring larger margins of error. When researchers analyze smaller demographic subgroups, such as Hispanic adults or young people, the sample size for these groups is often smaller. This results in a larger margin of error, making estimates for these subgroups less precise than those for the overall population. In the context of demographic data in the United States, the margin of error is particularly important. The U.S. population is diverse and large, so surveys must account for sampling error to avoid misleading conclusions. Policymakers, businesses, and researchers relying on survey data to understand trends, voting behavior, health statistics, and economic conditions. Knowing the margin of error helps them assess the reliability of this data. Furthermore, when reporting statistics on minority groups or other subpopulations, acknowledging the larger margin of error prevents overinterpretation of uncertain results. Ultimately, the margin of error serves as a reality check. It ensures that demographic research findings are interpreted with caution, reflecting the uncertainty in sampling rather than presenting estimates as exact truths. This understanding supports more accurate and responsible use of demographic data in the United States.